I made a post about infrastructure the other day on Facebook, and I got so much feedback from many women asking about how do they create infrastructure, wondering how I build the infrastructure for my particular business. So, what are the key pieces of business infrastructure that your business is missing? Do you have a website and maybe consistent social media outputs? Do you have a reliable nurturing sequence for people who download your lead magnet or they see you on a podcast? Do you have a funnel that brings them, let's say, even from some place like the Spiritual Business Hour into the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step? That would be a part of your infrastructure. And do you even have a system that consistently brings people continually into your email list and into your community so that you have fresh people coming in to hear your message on a regular basis? This is so important for us. As coaches, we love living from our hearts, we love helping people, but nobody told me when I got my coaching certification that I would need a funnel. Nobody said anything about that. But that was also, for me, it was about it was 2011. So that was 15 years ago. Funnels weren't as big as they are today. We now understand the value of a funnel, and a funnel is an important part of your business infrastructure. So one of the things we need to understand is that real business infrastructure is not something you build after you become a successful coach. You actually need that infrastructure to make yourself a successful coach. You need that infrastructure to support you and your coaching business, because without it, the business cannot grow beyond the limits of your one person's capacity. And if you're the one person doing everything, you are eventually going to burn out long before your limits are even ever genuinely tested. So, infrastructure is not a concept that's reserved for large businesses with enterprise style budgets and substantial teams. It's available to a solo woman coach right now. And if you have the right platforms, the right systems, the right documented processes, and the right initial team decisions, you know, building it doesn't have to be a large investment. Thank God we have so many wonderful resources, but it does require a clear understanding of what the infrastructure actually consists of. And it requires a willingness to make the structural decisions that kind of transfer the operational weight from the coach's personal capacity to a system that can hold it independently. And I think it also takes the discipline to build the structure before the crisis that makes the absence of the infrastructure like essential. So we have four guests today on the Spiritual Business Hour with Crystal and Bell. And actually, I think we're going to have just three guests today because I think my fourth guest got confused and can't find her way to us, but that's okay. She will come to us tomorrow or on Monday. She's also scheduled to be with us. So today, our three guests are Renée Ambarees. She is an international best-selling author. She's a speaker. She's a body identity mentor, and she's the creator of Yoga for Face. She helps women reconnect with their body, release stress, embody confidence, and activate their real smile. Also, as our guest, she's known as the Visibility Whiz. Cindy J. Holbrook helps coaches, speakers, and purpose-driven business owners create a fun and profitable business by choosing visibility strategies that feel aligned, sustainable, and effective, and that will build trust, influence, and real connection with the people they're meant to serve. Now, last but not least, we have our treasure, Stephanie Treasure. She is a former corporate marketer turned strategist and business coach. She supports capable, growth-driven women coaches who have proven their offers but are still earning below six figures. She supports them to hit 10K months by building authority-driven visibility, growing their leads, and increasing sales so that they can step into sustainable six-figure growth while making an impact. And I bet that comes from their heart. So welcome, ladies. Welcome to the Spiritual Business Hour.
Thank you so much for having us, Crystal Lynn. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Pleasure to be here.
welcome.
Thank you.
So, as usual, I've got some questions for you. We're talking about infrastructure, which let me ask you all. Let's start off by asking you all, what do you think is the key infrastructure that a woman coach needs? Can you tell us maybe the three key things that you see a woman coach would need for her business? Who would like to start?
I could jump in.
Go ahead, Stephanie.
So the way that I'm thinking of infrastructure is really putting certain things in place that will allow your business not only to function at the base level in terms of being able to receive calls and emails and things like that, but to be able to achieve your key targets that any business wants to achieve. Certainly, you want to make sure that you increase sales. You want to be able to have more people coming your way in terms of leads. You want things to just go smoothly. You want marketing to do what it's supposed to do so that you don't have to be doing all the things all the time. And so the three key things that I teach my clients are being able to attract new leads, right? So the first piece is attraction. How are you bringing people into knowing of what you do? How are you getting exposed to, as it relates to the work that you do? There has to be a system that keeps that happening on a regular basis. And then the second piece is marketing. This can be called nurture marketing, content marketing, but this is how you're showing up on a regular basis. It doesn't have to mean advertising. It could just really mean a presence through your social media posts. It could be a presence through podcasting. It could be a presence through writing articles. But what is that way that you're constantly marketing to the people who do know about you, as well as have that marketing be able to bring new people in? And then the third piece is conversions. How are you converting clients? How are you actually selling your programs? How are you selling your offers? There has to be a system around that. Those are the three key things that's going to help you to accomplish your targets in terms of being able to be found by new people, being able to connect with people who are considering working with you, and being able to convert those people who are really serious, they're ready to go now, and they want to jump into one of your programs.
Wow, that is so beautifully put. And I can see the system operating behind the Virgo's mind. Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, Virgo here.
Excellent, Stephanie. Thank you. And you've got a way of bringing people in, a way of nurturing them, and a way of getting them to take that step with you where they are actually investing income or money, investing in themselves. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Nicely done.
thank
Who
you.
else would like to share? Go right ahead, Cindy.
I will share. First of all, a lot of people, they think, oh, I need all these symptoms. I always like to stress a strategy is not a system. So posting on Facebook every day for 30 days is a strategy. It's not a system. The systems are the recipes from the very first ingredient to the last one, so you have the required result. And I always believe everything should lead to your list. I say that all visibility needs to lead to your list, because your email list is the bank of your business. 85% of online sales come through email. So everybody needs to, I think the first system every person should start to develop is their email. That being said, the 3 core ingredients for that is first attraction. There's a lot of people out there with a magnifying glass trying to look at every single little corner of the internet, trying to find their clients. But whenever they're clear on who they want to serve and they know what they're saying, their clients are going to be attracted to them. So stop trying to find your clients and start attracting them. The second one is captivate them. Captivate them with your message. When you know your core message, every single thing you say has to have something to do with your core message. And also, it's a great indicator of what to say yes to and what to say no to in your business. Because if it does not align with your message, it's a no. If it aligns with your message, it's a yes.
Ooh.
And this way, you're not using a lot of time saying yes to opportunities that are not going to help you build your business. And when you marry the attraction, or the third one is convert, because we all want to convert our dream clients. So you need to have all the systems in place that convert them. But it all starts with the attraction and the captivating them. And then they naturally convert a lot more easier, to where you're not out there having to use tactics that are not authentically you, that feel pushy or salesy, or make you feel like you're giving away your soul trying to sell to somebody.
Wow, love it, love it. Number one, I love how a good business mentor, a good business coach has a system and a strategy. And both Stephanie and Cindy, they're top-notch coaches for business. That is their specialty. And sure enough, you can tell because they have a system. 1, 2, 3. Excellent, beautiful presentation. I love that. Now, last but not least, I know we're going to get a different perspective over here. Now, Renee is not a business coach, but she sure knows how to coach you in your business. Am I right? So, Renee, do you want to share about, like, can you give our listeners 3 parts of their infrastructure that you think are important?
Yeah, of course.
She said, yeah.
Of course. So so here, you are getting the real gold nuggets, and you get all the spices, because this is what our business is about, to understand the systems. So here's coming the third system, and this is the system where everything is starting. Your business is starting here with yourself. How to attract starts with you in the mirror. Okay, so I'm teaching you also a system how to connect, but it's about just like learning how you can calm down your nervous system, because all the systems you were here, they are pushing us. They are pushing us out of our comfort zones. We are constantly learning new things. So our school dramas will maybe come to service, and you have to learn to release those things. It's your nervous system, it's your energy, and it's your presence that system has to set up. Okay, so for the attracting, for the right people. And here the thing is, I'm a specialist in this, because the CRM system, the funnel system, that has to nurture you, and if this is stressing out you, it's not bringing you in the scaling part. You have to be very clear of what you can hold, and what's your language, how your brain is functioning. Okay, so because if you are stressing out about the funnels, about the stuff, okay, then we have to talk about, yes, are you able to ask for help? Are you able to give the pen to someone else, because this is something you don't want to do? And I made so many mistakes. And when it comes to the tech part, yes, we have to understand, because it's our power. When you give the power totally away, it's not clever. But you have to use the things you are really comfortable with. And it's a growing process. and it's a single day growing process.
Yeah.
Specific, when you are a new coach, that has to be easy because you need the energy and the presence for your clients to attract and to hold that. And then just like, oh, of course, how I'm writing the funnels and how, but this is there, where are the systems clicking together, but everything is starting with your nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
Faces your business card, your body is a message without words.
Absolutely. I mean, without that internal structure, we don't have anything. It doesn't matter, what's happening in the real world or the material world. If we aren't connected on the inside, we can be pretty lost, and unstable and inconsistent. Personally, for me, I have a 5-part framework that I use, and this is what I've used to take my clients through my certification process for the last 8 years. And it begins with doing your own healing work. So understanding your healing as an infrastructure is partially where your coaching method even comes from. Looking at your own ancestral wounding, looking at your relationship with your own inner child, doing all that kind of healing. Once you've done that work, you can establish your pain point, and that together helps you have an infrastructure that's rooted on like understanding where you can be a great expert because you understand that pain. And from there, you can move into how you're going to help people, and you can create those systems for helping you deepen that relationship with the people that you love, that you ultimately want to help through your work. I call that your philosophy. You can start developing your philosophy. And then that third step would be the infrastructure around your offer. How your offer actually functions, but also how it's talked about. And you can bring in your messaging in that area. You need your messaging to be a part of your infrastructure. And then that fourth part for me is building out all those vessels, building out the website, building out the web presence, building up the social media, doing your videos, all those kinds of things that are going to start putting you in the minds of the people around you. And then the last step is actually launching yourself out there, where you are just showing up like all of our people here are showing up, and you are talking about what you do, and you have a coherent message, and people are responding to you, and you are bringing them back into the vessels that you've created, which everyone has spoken about. Cindy and Stephanie have talked about your client attraction systems and moving people through. It's just it's absolute brilliance, and it's so much fun to build out these systems. So what I want to ask our coaches next, let me ask something that is a little bit complex. All right. If a solo woman coach looked honestly at her business today, and she asked which parts of it would continue running if she disappeared for 2 weeks, okay, what would she find? Does anybody want to answer that one?
You said if I didn't, there was a part where you dipped. You said what would, if she had to disappear for 2 weeks? You said what would she find if she had to step away?
Yeah. So if she looked at her business, so basically the question is, can a coach actually leave her business and something continue functioning without her being there for 2 weeks? She takes off for 2 weeks. Maybe she's, wants to go on a vacation. Can her business keep going and bringing her income over those 2 weeks?
1,000%. 1,000%.
So what would she need to be there?
Yeah, for any business to truly function, whether or not you plan to step away, there's always going to be some amount of planning and preparation and scheduling that has to happen. We have wonderful tools for that nowadays, but it can't just be that each day to day is the day that you're going to either do the things that you're doing to attract leads or to get visible and fill your pipeline. It can't be the same day that you're going to start nurturing and marketing to your leads. It can't be the same. You can't wake up and in that same day say, okay, now I'm going to sell something, right? Everything has to have a plan, a process, a way that it happens, even when you're on, even when you're always at, you're showing up each day to work in your business, but the things that the order of the day for the business can't be happening ideally on the same day, unless it's that you just decide to do a live stream that was not planned. But you should have something going on in the background that's happening without you to bring in new leads. And that's something that you can easily set up once you have the systems in place for that. You need to also have a way that you're marketing to your people. It could be that the podcast that you recorded a month ago is now going to go live, and the team knows when and where to schedule that out to your existing email list, community, Facebook group, wherever, and that's going on stream. It could be that the calls that you had with prospective leads last week that were onboarded, they're coming on this week, and maybe you have a call set up for this week, or because you knew that you were going to be away for 2 weeks, you set up that next client call to happen 2 weeks hence. Or that client can have a call with a team member, say an operations manager or a tech person, in your absence, to get that part sorted out and that part on stream until you come back 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, whatever the case might be. But you should always have systems running in your business that's not dependent on an in the moment, just in time. Today's the day that I'm going to write this post, put it out there, and hopefully have a sales call by the end of the day with the person who reacted to it, right? So yeah, I mean, that would be great if it worked like that, but not so much. But yeah, you should have systems set up regardless of whether you're stepping away, so that if you step away, then the things that you need to kind of touch base with team and kind of put in place, it's really easy to do that handover because things are already set up to run seamlessly and to run in a very organized and structured way, even when everybody's at work and it's a regular working day or working week.
Beautiful. Nice, Stephanie. Thank you. Does anyone else want to look at that? Go right ahead, Cindy.
Life happens. There's been 2 different times in my life where I was 100% pulled away from my business. And the first one was in 2015. And I had a good team. I had multiple blog posts written that could be filtered out, but they weren't scheduled. I also had, my team had a lot of pre-done social media posts that could go out. So everything was in place, per se, for an emergency. And I had my emergency. My son broke his neck. He was an adult. He healed 100%, but it wasn't a fun period for a few months. I actually had to moved to Phoenix to care for him and my grandson, who was 5 at the time, for 6 months. And however, for the first couple weeks, I really wasn't too involved in my business at all. But I knew everything was taken care of because I had my team and I had my systems in place. I have a document with all of my systems. So if anybody disappears for whatever reason, anybody else can pick it up and they follow A, B, C, D, E, and they replicate the same results. So my team knew what to do, could do things that I did, and everything ran smoothly. My right-hand person phoned everybody and rescheduled all of my one-on-one appointments. But I didn't have to sit there and quote unquote worry about my business or about how it was running when I 100% had to be there with my son and grandson, especially for the first couple weeks. Living with him, I was able to do my coaching calls from Phoenix. I was able to do my webinars, and I was able to get new clients while I cared for him. But it was those first few weeks that the system saved me, because I didn't have to restart over when I was able to actually be present in my business again.
Yeah, beautiful. That's exactly what we're talking about here. You know, we go into we go into our own businesses for freedom. I don't know of anybody who went into their own business because they wanted to be tied down, and said nobody, right? So the whole point of the Liberated Coach Summit is to help you learn wisdom like what we're delivering here, whether it's internal wisdom from being offered by someone like Renee, or whether it's structural material world wisdom for your business itself, like Cindy and Stephanie are offering, and myself as well. So, the idea of the Liberated Coach Summit, first of all, we want to invite you to join the Liberated Coach Summit. It is absolutely free to join. We have 20 speakers like Renee, Cindy, and Stephanie, and we are all there offering you the keys to liberating your coaching business. Now, we are broadcasting in the Women Helping Women Entrepreneurs Facebook group today. We have a hard stop at 30 minutes. So we're going to keep going. We're going to keep on talking here. But I'm going to just say that if you are joining us from the Women Helping Women's Entrepreneur group, please drop a message in the Facebook group and let us know that you've watched. And definitely grab the link and join us for the Liberated Coach Summit. You will be so happy with the speakers, but also with the gifts that they are offering you. These gifts are workbooks, assessments. They are tools that are going to help you set yourself free from the shackles that are limiting your mind, your business, your money, your pleasure, and your time. Who doesn't want to be free in all those areas? We all do. So join the summit, grab the link, and thank you so much for joining us. If you're on the Women Helping Women uh, Women Helping Women Entrepreneurs group, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. Zaina is going to disconnect us, but we're going to continue here with everyone else who's watching. Thank you for watching and joining us. But let's go ahead. Renee, would you like to say something about that last question that I asked? And I don't remember what I asked last. Does anybody remember?
If you could step away from your business for a couple of weeks, would it still run?
Thank you. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Would you like to answer that, Renee?
I want to point out you have to give yourself permission to do that. And this is when you are starting and you are a solo woman that is running the business. This is overcoming the fear. This is, again, the nervous system. And knowing, even, I mean, the thing is, and I've been there. So what the girls were talking of, we need a setup, we need a system, we need everything prepared that people can get in contact with that. So having a Calendly, having a booking that your calendar can get booked, that is the minimum and standard what you need. So and then you can relax, because your energy, and when you make holidays, will just like increase. So you will attract when you are lying in the ocean. And I want to give you the idea that this is possible, because the beliefs that when we are not doing enough, not working hard enough, this is what is sitting in our body systems. And it's sitting so deep. This is where I want to wake you up. Because if you don't go on holidays, you get holidays on the sofa because you are so exhausted. So please take care that you make space, that you have your calendar, and that you take the free time. That is also a system where you have to plan your free spaces.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Renee. Yeah. I mean, honestly, you said it. If you don't take care of yourself, you're going to be spending your time, your resting time will be your free time will be spent trying to recover.
Yeah. So, and that's just like there's no way around. There's no shortcut. We can't skip the
Mm,
break. And
exactly. Exactly. So, ladies, what does a coach know? Or how does a coach know? Not how. Let's recommend. Renee just mentioned Calendly. Okay. What platforms or technology platforms would you recommend to, let's say, a new coach? What would be the one essential platform that you recommend for her?
As I said earlier, mine definitely has to do with email. And I absolutely love Aweber. Aweber is actually your oldest email service provider online, but also they're one of the very few, if not the only one, that you can actually hop on the phone with and get support. Aweber, I think, is great for new people to start their email list. And Aweber, you can start your email list. You can create your lead magnet sales landing pages on it, and it actually has everything you need to start your email list. There's lots of other. I don't use Aweber anymore, but it's definitely what I recommend to all of my clients that are starting out. I personally use Go High Level, and I don't recommend that for any new person.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Who else wants to recommend their favorite piece of technology?
I would say Google Suite if it can only be one thing. I was going to say Zoom at first, but
Hmm.
with Google Suite, and I agree with Cindy, I'm totally siding with her in terms of email. Getting established with an email marketing software is key, but at the very least, bare bones, you can also collect email addresses with some of the tools on Google Suite. Certainly, if you use Google Forms, you can collect email addresses that way. But with Google Suite, you can have your meetings, which is why I was going to say Zoom. You can have your meetings using Google Suite. You can have people schedule appointments with you. You can set things up. You probably have to do some hacks, but you can set things up with your Google Calendar, certainly with Google Documents or Google Drive, where you can, you can save your documents, you can save your presentations, you can save your Google Sheets. All of those are things that will come up within you serving and dealing with your clients day to day. That can be done there as well, certainly email. So if you have Google Suite, you can do most things. But I would say look into Zoom as well as some kind of a project management software. To enable you and help you to be able to delegate tasks to, even if it's one team member, it will be more organized than you just sending emails and communicating either through emails or messengers, Facebook Messenger, and things are all over the place. If you have some kind of a project management tool, then everything can be in one place and a little bit more organized, so that as you grow, you can still come back to archived tasks or archived information and not get too lost.
Oh boy. Oh boy. From the Virgo's lips, okay? Because no, but so right. Being able to find what is archived, what is old, being able to find it so important. It is so important in our businesses.
Yeah.
There's a powerhouse wrapped up in our little treasure.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Right?
Thank you, Cindy.
Right.
I like that one. I've heard a lot of the treasure jokes, but I don't think I've heard that one.
Excellent. Renee, would you like to share your favorite tool or technology?
So when it comes to the tech part, I remember when I started my business, and I was starting not just like that was not the plan. I was just like having, and I was starting with a Facebook group, I was starting with Zoom, and I was starting with Calendly, and I had MailGym. So this is when I was starting, and I remember that was smooth and easy, and I had in between just like two transitions. Now I'm just like bringing all the pieces back because my system was get hacked last year. So I'm bringing everything go high level. But everything when I'm teaching, I have to calm down my nervous system. I have to clean up my forehead because this is just like, that's a different ballgame. But when everything is fine and the things are clicking together, this is the most magic. And I think Stephanie is just like the master in all the pieces. I'm just like I was having chaos, and I just like, okay, then you have to put the pieces together
Yeah.
and to take care and to make upfront when you start the business everything in the right place.
Mm.
Imagine if you are growing, maybe things are disappearing. So make a safety box. Because yeah, that's just like after 9 years, I served. I mean, always in chaos what you can experience, and this is why I'm just like I was telling you, whatever is happening. If here I'm a Libra, so we have a Virgo. A Virgo is just like pretty good. I'm a Libra. I'm here for the balance part.
Excellent. Beautiful. Look, I'm going to be just very transparent. I love technology. I've always loved technology. And when I discovered Go High Level, I fell in love immediately. And I started my own agency, and I call it Badass Butterfly Headquarters. And I take new coaches and I help them set up their coaching programs from start to finish in Badass Butterfly Headquarters. And I help them manage it. I help them build it out so it's not overwhelming. We have it step by step. We have them grow it along with their certification. So it's actually a really beautiful experience. I've got several coaches who have set up their businesses there, building out their websites, building out their email lists. All those things are there. And I absolutely love it. I do recommend, for me, the one platform you need is Go High Level. I would use that along with Google Suite as well, because you do need a place where you can create your documents, and I use Google Suite for that, having all my spreadsheets there. Absolutely, Stephanie. Yes, for sure. But for me, starting, I think Cindy was spot on when she said you need to have your email locked down. We do that in Badass Butterfly Headquarters, and it's a fantastic system. But again, my whole perspective is that as a coach, you need to not try to do everything by yourself. It doesn't matter. It can be super overwhelming. And especially if you are a spiritual coach and you're a spiritual woman who tends to be more heart centered, and having to learn new technology slows you down to the point that you start to become bogged down. I don't think that's healthy for coaches, and I don't recommend that you do that, which is one reason why I started my agency, and we actually do the building for our coaches so that they don't have to. There is nothing that is directly related to your ability to coach that is connected to your ability to build a website or do an automation or handle the workings of a funnel. There's no relation to that. I guarantee you, learning how to build out a website is not going to ever help you be a better coach unless you're doing work like I am, where you are a business mentor. That is how I earn my living. I help women build their businesses. So it's different for me. You are not like me. Okay. So no, you don't ever have to learn how to build a website or how to do an automation or any of those things. So again, Badass Butterfly Headquarters, reach out to me. Let's talk about that. I can give you some help on that.
Can I add on to that?
Absolutely.
I just and I'm like you, techie. Like I will mentor people with the tech part, and I help people with the tech part. But what I've seen, and you may have seen this too, with so many people, they say, "Hey, I want an email list." So they hire a VA, thinking the VA is going to do everything in their email list, like write emails and market and everything else. And even though you do not need to do everything yourself, and I don't recommend you try, you do need to know what the end result is, what you want. Because if you don't know what you want, then it can cause all kinds of problems. I started with Go High Level last October, and I didn't have a clue. Go High Level is it's a very steep techie learning curve, even for somebody that's techie like me. And so I hired somebody to put it together, and I was like, things just didn't feel right in my mind or my heart what this person was doing. And I really didn't know what the end result looked like. So I spent $5,000 on somebody who put my Go High Level together completely wrong.
Oh,
And then I had to spend more money to have somebody fix what was
undo
wrong
it.
and put it
Mhm.
together. But if you don't know what the end result is, they can really mess up your business because you don't know if it's right or wrong to begin with.
Yeah, you know what? I think that that is a really valid point. And I think that this is why I started my agency with
Mm-hmm.
this kind of supreme confidence, because I started my agency 5 years ago, and I went into it having years and years of experience. I started off my emails with Constant Contact. I used Aweber. I used MailChimp. I used the French one, Send in Blue, and now it's called something
Oh,
else that begins with a B. I've forgotten what they've changed their name to. Anyway, I've gone through all those different systems. I had to use Zapier to wire things. I built my own website on WordPress. I put together an entire, like, I built my blog on WordPress. I built my whole website. I did all that stuff all myself. So when I went into my agency myself, it was with this knowing of what needs to connect to what, understanding deeply that you can't start in the middle when you're building this whole thing. And, Cindy, I have so much compassion for you because not only are you really good technologically, but you're also an age-old coach. You know what needs to be done. You understand how the web works. You understand how email works. So for you to kind of get stuck with somebody who messed up your system, I bet that was incredibly frustrating and something, that I could relate to. And I would never, I would, one of the things that I do is I have all of my systems mapped out. And I think you mentioned protocols
mm-hmm.
before, like you have your protocols mapped out. All of our systems are mapped out. This is what a funnel must do. This is what, a launch plan must have, so that everybody is on the same page. And as a coach, the reason I like Badass Butterfly Headquarters is because it's designed and run by a coach, not somebody who was, a VA who said, "Oh, I'm going to do what I saw somebody else do," but somebody who actually built a business from scratch, who understands what it means to scale and to
Mm-hmm.
go from, like how to build a blog, how to get that, like what needs to be in that SEO in order for people to see your blog and all these other things that go along with it. How to set up an RSS feed. All those things matter.
Right. What you just said is so very important. And like, I would highly recommend if anybody wants to go to High Level, use Crystal's Badass Butterfly Agency because
Headquarters. Yes, Badass
so
headquarters.
headquarters because so many of the agencies online are not coaches. They're tech people, they're VAs, they did it specifically just to build their own business that way and make money, and they really don't understand the ins and outs of coaching.
Absolutely. And that's really, really important. So important.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, infrastructure is partially about your technology choices. And I think that everyone has talked about technology and infrastructure on different levels. And I want to get us on to one last question here. And this will be for you all to decide, you all jump in as you want, but what does a solo coaching business look like a year after the coach really starts to build the infrastructure? Like, let's say that the coach decides that they're going to take this year, and yes, they are going to build clients, but they're going to make choices that are built around lasting infrastructure, not something that's fleeting just to grab in some money or to generate some cash flow, which a lot of coaches do. What does that business look like a year after making solid decisions for infrastructure? I know all of you all have done it. You've all made a decision for infrastructure.
I think the big thing is they have all their recipes and they have delegated their recipes to other people to free up their time so they do what they do best.
Mm.
And depending upon what it is, I'm very into, and the reason why I have alignment plus attraction equals profits, use strategies that are aligned with you, build systems that are aligned with your personal beliefs, strengths, and values. And then this is going to be a lasting business.
Mm.
Don't go out there doing stuff that you don't want to do or you don't like just because you can make money with it, because that's not going to be a fun business. And I know Stephanie, I love Stephanie, and Stephanie and I have worked together, I think, since 2019, and in one form or another. And so whenever you say solo, and I don't believe that there's ever a solopreneur. If you're solo, you're in the gutter fighting yourself, and you really you may have structures, but if you are doing it truly solo, you don't have the support from fellow coaches and collaboration. Like, I have learned so much from Stephanie over the years, and hopefully she's learned a thing or two from me, but it's whenever you collaborate. And I think the creating systems around collaboration, this is a collaboration call right here where the four of us are speaking, we get to know each other, and when we collaborate in the future. And I think that is one of the biggest things that everybody should start with, is you need to know other people in your industry that you can support that will also support you.
Absolutely. That is so gorgeous. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Who else wants to share on this?
I want to go next because I have learned so much from Cindy. Not only is she the visibility queen, I believe she's also the collaboration queen. I have picked up a lot of little tips from her book, but Cindy started on the right track in terms of what's needed, what you should have in place when she spoke about that time in 2015. I believe she said it was 2 different times in her businesses where she had to step away, kind of life happened, and it wasn't a planned vacation, say, okay, I'm going to be off for 2 weeks in August, so we put these things in place. But literally she had to step, like today something happened and the next day she was out, and her team had to put the pieces together. And what I want to say to that Cindy started with a previous answer was that once you have, I'm going to use a technical term, it may sound technical to some, but SOPs, standard operating procedures for, all the intricacies in your business, whether it's, how you want your posts to be scheduled, or SOP around whenever you're going to do a webinar, all the promotions that need to happen, how you onboard a new team member, how you plan an event. Once you have SOPs or documentation for how every single thing works, right? Then it whenever you do, some people say, oh, I change VAs so often because, sometimes things don't work out. And it's such a hassle to have to retrain someone else. But if you have the infrastructure in your business where you have an SOP, a standard operating procedure around the things that you want your VA to do, then even as you offboard somebody, you need to bring somebody on board, it doesn't mean that you have to reinvent the wheel. That person can get onboarded very seamlessly by yourself. And even better, it could be onboarded by another team member who will be following the procedures that you have laid out and put in place for what the your VA support, what your virtual assistant needs to be onboarded with, what their their responsibilities are. All those things are in place once you have set things up, and it will take some time, right? Because you're pretty much kind of offloading your brain and anticipating either questions or anticipating having to step away from the business, anticipating if you're really busy in a launch period and you just need to get a webinar out and you can't sit there and do it yourself, or you can't sit there and train somebody, what are the things that they will need to know in terms of where things get scheduled, the event that you have to make in the group, the email that has to go out to your list, scheduling the Zoom, creating the Zoom link. They need to know all, you need to kind of spend some time putting that together and documenting it so that it's going to seem laborious in the moment, but it's going to save you for those times when you do have to step away, or when you start to grow and you want to introduce layers between you and team, perhaps through having things go through an online business manager. It would be easy even onboarding that online business manager, because you have those systems in place, so that they can easily just kind of take the reins and take over and deal with the team, and you can kind of be able to put your attention on the things that will scale your business, the marketing piece, the sales piece, whatever else you need to do to grow. You're able to do that because the handover is easier, because you spent the time to put those procedures in place.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that that is so very, very true, and accurate. And one of the things that I've loved, especially with this year, we've had tremendous growth in my business. And one of the things that I've started doing is letting my AI record those conversations with those training and onboarding conversations. And AI has done a fantastic job of refining those SOPs, but also creating the step by step. Sometimes some of them, especially when we're bringing in new people, we've had to create a new position. Like starting, who knew that with spiritual business hour, I had no idea that I was going to need one, like, almost full-time team member to handle the workings of this particular show. I did not know. It was my first time doing it. But with Zaina and I sitting down on our conversations, and those conversations being recorded by AI, it put together the entire protocol. Everything was written out, created a checklist for us. All the things are there, and then boom, it was done. And Zaina, my assistant, she's not even an assistant. She is literally the live stream producer. Okay. She is working at the capacity of a producer and really following through with this. But the ease that it was to bring her in and get her started. And of course she's brilliant. Okay, we're going to give her credit where the credit is due. Okay, but it also helps to have a mind that understands the big picture. And for a new coach doesn't know all the things that someone like Renee or Stephanie or Cindy or myself knows. You just don't know that because you're new. And so I definitely want to recommend that if you're a new coach, you need to get with a great business mentor. If you want to start on the inside, you hire somebody like Renee, you work with her so that you can know your nervous system, you can understand your mind, you can understand your face, okay? You can also, though, work with someone like Stephanie, work with someone like Cindy. These are women who have done so much. You do not need to reinvent the wheel. You work with someone like these women, you work with someone like me, and you save yourself so much money, so much time, so much energy, and you can move forward in your business with grace.
Oh, can I?
Yes, absolutely.
I would like to say something because here's sitting someone who made all the mistakes. So if you are new here, so now you have three badasses that can help to give you the right structure and to spread your wings. Okay. So, and don't underestimate the structures because we are now in the area. This is a new time zone. Like when I was starting with my business, we didn't have AI in this. So, and now this is a totally different ballgame, and we have to understand those skills, and we have to be comfortable. And please find someone that sees you, that feels you, and that's this is the whole thing. You need a team.
Mm.
Can also relax. That's good for your nervous system, by the way. So. That's good. So, and we have three badasses here. So, so I'm the other one. I'm just like helping you to stay in the present moment that you can open your eyes to find the right one.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, friend. So, look, it's time for us to be wrapping up the spiritual business hour. I want to give, um, this is about the Liberated Coach Summit. It is happening now. If you have not signed up, please sign up now. We're in the last 8 days of the summit, and there are 20 speakers with 20 gifts. All right. You don't want to have to cram these speakers. You want to be able to listen to them at your leisure. However, there is an upgrade that you can do. You can purchase the upgrade for $27, and that will give you an extended amount of time with the speakers and their gifts. So you'll have time until until August to be able to watch all of the episodes. So go ahead and sign up for free first, and then you will be given an opportunity to upgrade. But go ahead and sign up right now and enjoy that. What I'd like to do is offer our speakers an opportunity to share what their gifts are for the event. So who wants to go first and share what their gift is? Go right ahead, Cindy. And Cindy, I'm sorry, I had to mute you because you were moving around and making some noise. Can you unmute yourself? Hold on, I'll unmute you. Hold on. Okay, got it.
Thank you. I had to unplug my computer because there's a storm outside with the thunder and lightning. But my gift is discover your unique client attraction style. It's a short 3-minute quiz that's going to help you know what your unique client attraction style is. It comes with a guide, a blueprint that shows you your strengths, the challenges that you have by having that client attraction style, plus a lot of prompts that you can use to get ideas on how to utilize social media to increase your visibility and attract
Excellent.
your dream clients.
Excellent. That's a fantastic gift. Excellent. Yay. Very good. Who wants to go next?
I can go.
All right. Go right ahead, Stephanie. What's your gift?
So mine is the visibility cheat sheet to getting fully booked. And this is about an 11-page guide, 11-page PDF. I'm going to be sharing with you the benefits of being powerfully visible and what it does to help you to attract your high ticket, your ideal clients. I'm going to share with you a 3-part plan to explode your visibility. Many times, and we're talking about some of that here, we kind of get busy and get in the weeds of our businesses and don't, really have a chance to, do the things that we need to do to stay visible, to stay present, because we get bogged down with clients or we get bogged down with admin. So if you have to kind of re-emerge and kind of get out there again, there's a 3-part plan to do that. You're going to have, I also share with you a cadence in terms of what you could be doing weekly, what you could be doing monthly, what you could be doing quarterly, to be able to stay visible and, have it be manageable, have it be routine, and be able, have you staying present. And I also share with you an ultimate checklist in terms of what your bio on LinkedIn, on Instagram can look like, how you can utilize your featured and pin post feature that most of the platforms have, so that you are kind of putting your best self forward as you get visible and you get out there and you do your marketing and new people come to find you. You want for them, when they land on any of your profiles, to be able to see certain key things, key content, key information about who you're working with and how you work, so that they can get a feel for what you do and whether or not you can help them, and be able to either book that call if you want them to book a call, or to download a freebie, or even if people are looking for speakers, you want them to be able to right away get a feel for what you can talk about, so that they can invite you to speak at their event. So all of that is there for you in the cheat sheet. So I hope you're going to take advantage of that and download it.
Excellent. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. And Renee, what is your gift?
Ooh, so I have my 4 magic moves that is going to help you and your nervous system to digest all this amazing information. So, because when you get an overload, when you feel triggered, when you get fear, this is bringing you back in the present moment that you are able to find new solutions. So for magic moves is the break in between that you are able to rise like a phoenix. Okay.
Beautiful. I love that. Rise like a phoenix. Yes, excellent. And my gift, I'll tell you about my gift. My gift is the 5 shackles quiz. So I built this summit based on being limited by 5 shackles, a shackle around your mind, your time, your pleasure, your business, and your money. And the quiz that I've offered, actually, it takes just about a minute to go through it, but it's to help you see where you're shackled within those 5, like how you're shackled within those 5 areas. The great thing is that once you do the quiz, you're going to be emailed a guidebook that takes you through all the different shackles and helps you break free. So it helps you identify them and identify your limitations within each shackle. And then it gives you a plan to help you break free. And the idea is that you start breaking free from the inside so that you can be more effective on the outside. So do the quiz and join us for the summit. In order to get all these great gifts, you've got to join us for the summit. And I hope you will do that. There is a link in the comments. All right, everyone. I want to say thanks for joining. Thanks to our guests. All right. Thank you, dear guests. And then we will be back tomorrow for the Spiritual Business Hour. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye for now, friends. Bye.